Right, everyone? Feel free to ask away.
Well, Charlie, how you feeling considering everything that you've been through over the last 6 months, 9 months?
I feel good, but sitting here talking to you, I talk to everybody I see now. Before I used to just talk to a few people, the ones I wanted to talk to. Now I talk to everybody.
Do you feel like it's a blessing to be here today
Yeah.
with and how hard have you worked to get to this point? What has this been like?
I feel like I've definitely worked hard, but I think that I've got a ways to go yet, and I'm gonna make sure that I give myself a chance to get physically healthy.
And do you have any message for anyone who may be struggling with health issues, or do you have anything to say on that?
Like you said, you got to have patience. Sometimes I don't have a lot. Really, I think is that's all about that. I had periods where I could always hear people talk, but when I couldn't talk back to them and stuff like that, that got really frustrating, and I used to really get uptight about it, and I used to think that I might not never talk or walk or something like that, and then walking, I kind of made myself walk, but the talking, it's hard. I took PT for about, 2 months?
Longer than that. Yeah.
And I used to do sometimes my speech was, I had 2 classes a day, and it's hard really. But I started improving when this one lady, second lady I had, she started talk about baseball. She brought all of Babe Ruth's stats to my time period, and we started talking about baseball, and I started getting better. I don't know. Finally, I got to a place where I could put a sentence together and we could talk about players and things better, and it definitely helped.
How much did your love of baseball motivate you to get back? Did that play a role?
I think it had a lot to do with it, without a doubt. I see when I had to watch the playoffs last year in the bed, and I couldn't talk good to them, but I could curse a little bit. but yeah, I mean, I have a hard time staying away from the ballpark.
Person out there in game 6 and 7?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a lot of other people cursed.
No, you've had so many health issues. It's something you and I have talked about a bunch, 10 years ago.
Right.
Diverticulitis, quadruple
Right.
bypass, kidney cancer,
Yeah.
gout, bladder surgeries. Where does the stroke and your recovery fit into the heart? Like you once told me the diverticulitis was the most painful.
Right.
I was surprised you say that. Where does this
Right.
fit in there with those other health issues?
I think since then I've done some more. I have lately every 2 years I made some major operations, like 4 or 5 years or something, and I've gone through a lot of pain. Stroke was not like as painful as some of the other stuff, but it was right side when I couldn't move it, and when I couldn't talk, and I couldn't walk. I think that's the worst thing definitely the worst thing I've ever had.
When did you begin to feel like you were going to get better? You were going to be able to come to a ballpark again?
When I got to walk, the nurses used to get mad because I wouldn't turn my buzzer on when I went to the bathroom. They said afraid I was going to fall. Some did it. Sometime I did fall.
But you were stubborn, you had to do it yourself.
Yeah, they offered me a cane, they offered me they call it a walker. They gave me a water to take home, and I took it home, but I never used it.
Did you get any great surprise visits from people that really helped during your recovery, maybe emotionally, psychologically?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people that, times I've been in the hospital, like nurses at like at hospitals like Jefferson, over Lakeland, things like that. They still keep up with myth and stuff, but they always check on me.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think there was a long period of time though where when he was in rehab and in the hospital, like before we actually went home from the stroke, that he really didn't want to see anybody.
Yeah, right.
He was real self-conscious about his speech. He did not want to see anybody. There was a period there at the beginning of the recovery where, yeah, he had a lot of depression and did not want to see people. So eventually, though.
Did you see a turning point, like where you thought, hey, Charlie's coming back?
Yeah, once we had been home, because he was in ICU for a time, and then he went to a regular medical floor, and then we had to wait a period of time before he could get into the inpatient. So once he finished 2 weeks of inpatient and went home, I think that really helped a lot, just for him to be home and for him to know he was going to be okay because he got to go home.
Where do you feel, like you said, you're still working your way back? Where do you feel like you're at?
I think if I want my speech to get better, I know I can talk better, and I want it to get better, and I want to start. Some days I have some bad days, like feeling like headaches and real weak, things like that. I want to start. I need more my strength back. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get.
Where do you think you're at percentage-wise? 75, 80?
I think I could get back. Strength-wise, I think I can definitely get back. I would say I can at least 75-80% strength back.
What helps you get through those bad days? Is it baseball? And what helps you get through the bad days?
Baseball definitely helped me. People would call me and talk about baseball. I couldn't talk, but they'd talk. Yeah.
Do you remember any one specific phone call or visit from a former player, or maybe it was Jim? You know, you and Jim Tomey are really close, or anybody from the the championship Phillies teams? Anybody who came?
I could tell you this. I would say 75% of the people that called me told me that they loved me. And some of the guys, and I never thought I hear somebody tell you. Sometimes it's hard for a man to tell a man that he loves him. Really. But like when you know really know somebody and they meant it, it kind of means more to you.
He also received a lot of messages. He had a lot of recorded messages from a huge part of the 08 team, like different messages, because he wasn't able to talk on the phone. They would record messages, and even when he was in ICU and still intubated and couldn't speak, I would play messages from people. And he had quite a few of that he would listen to, and and you could tell he felt, he brightened up.
How long was it till he could, or how long was it till you could talk again? How long were you unable to talk?
I would say I went about 2 weeks, and then I started saying one word or 2 words, things like that. And then when I got into my PT, and they were, the girl used to toss me. She asked me every day when she came to see me. She said, "What's my name?"
What's her name? Nicole.
Nicole.
You were at Cole's retirement ceremony the other day, so just how did it feel to be around this guy? So it mean to you to be around the 08
What's that?
How did it feel to be back at Manuel's retirement
Yeah,
ceremony?
great.
What did that mean to you?
That meant a whole lot. Cole did a good job talking and everything. I think, and it brought back a lot of memories.
Charlie, how nice is it to be back at the ballpark with a bunch of like young prospects
Yeah,
starting to
right.
come up? And what is like some advice you might give to a young ball player who come up and approach you?
We just say, if you like baseball, you gotta love it. You gotta put a lot of time into it, but if it's work for you, then maybe you might have it in the wrong possession. Because all the youth work that I've ever put in baseball to me wouldn't work, and things like that. And, nowadays, we don't like practices. I'm a repetition guy. I mean, that's what I've always taught. I work, especially when I work with hitters, we work for the mechanics and things like that, you swing and all that, but at the same time, we do a lot of reps. And I'm a firm believer that you get better by the more you swing. And the guy, I'll give you a good example, is the guy that's led the league in hitting for the last 2 years. He led Minnesota 2 years ago, Miami last year, and he probably got traded to San Diego. He's what I call it. He's a guy who worked hard and he made a hit around of himself. I can tell you that by his swing and plate coverage and what he can do with the bat and things like that. It's no shortcuts to being a good hitter.
I can tell from the way you talk and hitting, you haven't lost that at all. You haven't lost the enthusiasm.
Right.
How nice?
I love another thing too is I think since I've come off the field as a manager, I've gotten into young players and things like that. You know, I like watch young players play and develop and things like that. And actually every year when I was a manager, I do about 10 or 12 high school teams when we were doing tournaments and stuff. And I have a big desire to coach kids.
Is there anybody on this roster that stands out to you on this roster?
On our roster?
Yeah,
Here, we got some good. We got some players. Third baseman looks like a good hitter. Our leadoff hitter, I've been around him for 2 or 3 years. Some of these guys I've been around for a while. Yeah, they need to put together a good season. They got to be more consistent in their play and hitting and stuff. And you can if you produce now in the minor leagues, you get a shot to be hitter.
Speaking of the big leagues, how has the play of the Phillies, is that, baseball's helped you, how well they're playing, is that helped
Very
you?
good. They got a real good team. I love their team. They got a super team. They got a good attitude on their team. They like to play with one another. And the teammates, they like it. They get along good, everything like that. And also, part now that we've got most of our fans back, there's a lift here up every day. You'd be surprised how much that counts.
Okay, so Charlie, who would win, the 2008 Phillies or the 2024 Phillies?
208.
The closest, how special is that closeness with that 08?
About 5 or 6 years, that was the closest. That was the best attitude, chemistry I've seen stay together for that long period. Best I've been around. Now, when I was in Cleveland, we had some big time players, but we also used to fight among ourselves, a lot of individuals, and things like that. And our team, when I managed here, they were easy. They loved to play and they loved to come to the ballpark. and they definitely like to play it in front of our fans.
And that sounds very similar to this week.
This guy,
Yeah.
they definitely they got to hear. We got some good real stand up guys on our team. Schwarber, Harper, Turner. I mean, especially our young players. We got some good young players like Baum and Stott, and these guys. They're gonna be good. Got a chance to be real good.
Anything else?